Okay, so I'm going to show you a very quick example. I'm going to go through this whole thing, but I'm going to do it pretty quickly of how a student might use this chart. So when they first get into the AP test, they should be able to write this entire chart down, and then they could subnet a Class C network, no problem, with using a variable length subnet mask, which remember that is each subnet can be a different size based on the needs of the hosts and the amount of subnets. So this is like an example of what I would give my students to fill out as practice. And so you'll see we have 4 subnets needed right here. This is our network address. We started with a /24, so that's Class C. Um, and then we have some size requirements. Sales needs 42 hosts, manufacturing needs 61 hosts, management needs 28, and a WAN link needs 2. So we're going to put these in order from largest to smallest because that's best practices. That's the best practice when you are using VLSM is to go largest to smallest. So we're going to start with manufacturing. So manu, and then sales, and then management, and then WAN. So then we're going to go over here. The number of hosts needed would be 61 for manufacturing. And then with sales would be 42, management would be 28, and the WAN link would be 2. So now this is where we go over to our chart. We need 61 hosts here. We have 4 subnets, so which one could give us 61 hosts and at least 4 subnets? And it's going to be a /26 because that's going to give us 62 hosts. But remember, that's the host, and we have the total addresses of 64. We had to subtract 2 for the network address and the broadcast address. So if we fill this line out, we're going to say it's a /26, and it's going to give us 64 addresses. If we look at the next one, we need 42, and it looks like that's not big enough, so that's going to be the same thing again. So again, we're going to do /26, 64. Now let's look at 28. That one's too small. This one's just right. So /27 with 32 total addresses. /27, 32. And I'm going to go pretty quickly here. 2 would be a /30 and 4 total addresses. 4 total addresses and a /30. You'll notice that the prefixes go up. So subnet name, let's just copy this down. Manu, sales, management, WAN. Copy down our prefixes. /26, /26, /27, /30. Total addresses per prefix 64, 64, 32, and 4. Subnet address. This is our very first address that we're starting with, so it's going to be this one up here. So it's going to be 192.168.1.0. I'm going to go ahead and make all of these size 12. And then I'm going to copy the first part of this just to make it easier. Okay, so the way this works is in this subnet right here, we know that I need 61 hosts, but I have to take 64 because that's the size of the subnet. I can't just take 61. So the size of this subnet is going to be 64. So 0 plus 64 is going to give me the start of the next subnet, which is going to be 0 plus 64 is 64. Same thing here. This one starts on 64, but I also have 64 addresses in this subnet. So 64 plus 64 is going to give me 128. This one I have 32. So I start at 128 and I add 32 addresses. So that's going to give me 160. Again, I'm going fast. Sorry. The broadcast address is probably what I would do next because that is the easiest one to figure out, or this one. But the broadcast address is the last address on this network before we get to this network. So it would be 63 because when I hit 64, I'm on this new subnet. So I'm going to say 63. Same thing here, 127. 59. And if I were to do this one again, this would be 64 would be the next start of the next subnet. So this would be 163. 163. Now all we're doing is first usable is going to be the one after the subnet address. Last usable will be the one before the broadcast address. So it makes it really easy. You're just filling in a chart. The one after 64 is 65. Before 127 is 126. 158. 61. 62. And then my subnet mask, I'm just going to look at my chart again. This is why this chart is so handy. I have slash 26. Subnet mask is going to be right here. Both of these. And then slash 27 is this one. And then this one's going to be 252. And that's it. That's how you fill out the chart. So you are able to VLSM subnet any Class C address using this chart. So just have them memorize this and just vomit it out onto the paper as soon as they get to their AP test, and they should be good to go. Hopefully, this helps. Thank you.